and welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Episode 315. I hope to God that is exactly what the episode number is. I'm not signed in on any of the platforms that allow me to track that. But we'll pretend at this point in time that is exactly what's going to happen. I was just going to cpluscomedy.com. I was going to go to the podcast provider, but I was wrong. Yep, 315. 315. Here we are, back at it again. Late, but I just recorded late night lately, so that's good. What's been going on? I finished watching 32 horror movies in the past month since September 30th, all the way up until October 31st. The best was Smile 2. The worst was Dash Cam. I should not have watched that movie. It was probably the worst movie I've seen this year. And I watched a decent amount of movies this year. Wendell and Wild was boring. It's just the entire time. Like, if I get up and start washing dishes in the middle of a movie, which I did for that one. Oh my gosh. A lot of movies surprised me. The first Omen surprised me. I liked it a lot. Let's see, what else surprised me? Salem's Lot did surprise me. I did not think I was gonna like that movie, but man. What is Sting? See, I can barely remember these things. I think I remember Sting because I think I found it when I was watching Cobwebs. In the Tall Grass surprised me. The Stranger surprised me, Chapter 1, because it was bad. What a Significant Other. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Late Night with the Devil was all right. Yeah. I didn't know that movie used AI in a lot of places. That's what I just read that about an hour ago. I was reading something on the New York Times talking about, it was a feature piece in the New York Times Magazine, and it was, I'll just go look it up. It was in reference to, it said, what if generative AI is good for movies? And I went, oh no, that's not what's going to happen. No, sir. And the writer was trying to defend the use of AI and generative AI in movies. New York Times, generative AI movies, or Hollywood. I'll say Hollywood. And the writer said, what if AI is actually good for Hollywood? That's what it's called, written by Devin Gordon, and it was published a couple of days ago. But Devin particularly said that Alien Romulus and Furiosa both used AI, and I went, what? And I Googled them, and I was reading about articles about the Furiosa stuff, and I went, oh my gosh, there's AI in there. Like, that's crazy. And they used it on the little girl's face to make her look like Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm not kidding. I thought they just hired a little actress that looked just like Anya Taylor-Joy. Like, that can't be that hard, you know? But, yeah. They use AI, and I couldn't find one about Aliens Romulus. I mean, I didn't go any further about Aliens Romulus, but whatever. And I think it's a good piece to read, but it is very much pro generative AI for Hollywood. And talk about the movie Here, which stars Tom Hanks and Robin Wright and is directed by Robert Zemeckis. And it's the movie where it's all takes place in the corner of a living room, and the camera looks out from that corner, and a whole lifetime happens within that, which I think is a great premise. But obviously they use de-aging technology and aging technology to make Robin Wright and Tom Hanks look older and younger. And there's generative AI in that, which I can see the case for that. But at this point we're picking and choosing, you know, the fact that studios were, I think the biggest argument is that studios, if they had it their way, there would be AI tools for writing, for visual effects, and like heavy stuff too. There'll be AI tools for acting, and we would be replacing Scarlett Johansson's face in every movie she's in or whatever. Like that. That's what it would be. Robert Downey Jr. I know he just said that he would come back and sue the heck out of people who use any studios or whatever that use his likeness after he's dead. That's what they would want. This is an argument, and this is me reading it as a whole. This is an argument about, the de-aging tech and facial stuff that you can't really get, but that we could still do when it comes to, by hand, when it comes to making movies. If AI wasn't the biggest part of Furiosa, then somebody would just be changing that little girl's facial features into Anya Taylor-Joy's, or they would do it with makeup, practically. Or they just wouldn't care. They just get a little girl who has the same skin color, put on the same style of wig, except for when she cuts her hair off. Spoiler alert. That movie is so great. I love that movie so much. 40 minutes straight without the main character. Or I think it's like 40 minutes or an hour, but it's a very long time that you do not see Anya Taylor-Joy, and you go, and I was enjoying my time in the theater, but I went, wow, I guess we're never going to see Anya Taylor-Joy at one point. Because it was so much about this little girl, and then she meets Chris Hemsworth, and then it's a little girl and Chris Hemsworth, and then still. Anyway, go check out that article. What if AI is actually good for Hollywood? I should have saved that. Yeah. This comes from Variety, written by Jennifer Moss. Netflix adds Moments feature allowing users to easily share favorite scenes. This is something that should have been done years ago. This would be a great sharing tool that essentially lets you clip out parts of scenes. I mean, I haven't used it, but as Netflix says, you can bookmark a scene while watching on your phone. Who does that? Saving it directly to their My Netflix tab for easy access later. Members can also share their favorite scenes across platforms like Instagram and Facebook, creating a seamless way to engage, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and it looks like when you share, it'll give you the title of the project, TV show or movie or whatever. And if it's a TV show, it'll give you the season and episode, and then it'll say starts at this time. Which, I mean, cool, I guess, but I think it's a good idea. I'm not going to say this. I think it's a good idea. Because I would only use it for things like, I think you should leave. When I want to quote something so desperately. I love quoting things. I just got a text. Let's go on. This comes from Variety 2, written by Jennifer Moss again. Video game actors strike continues as SAG-AFTRA extends contract. This happened middle last week or late last week. I don't know the exact middle last week. If you didn't know, there are still strikes ongoing in the world of Hollywood. This time for video games. It's been going on for a couple of months now, I believe. Actors were trying to get, better contracts for video games. SAG-AFTRA, prior to returning to the table with the corporate gaming side Wednesday, SAG-AFTRA announced more than 120 video game titles had signed their either SAG-AFTRA's proposed interim media agreement or the indie developer-focused tiered budget independent interactive agreement, as the strike is largely handled on a title-by-title basis rather than studio-by-studio. Oh, so like if Halo 6 and what else does that group make? Halo, a spin-off Halo. Halo. They'd be doing that as opposed to everybody at 343 or the entire 343 studio. According to the union, the SAG-AFTRA strike against all signatories in the interactive media agreement began in July and remains in effect. Companies included in the bargaining committee are Activision, Disney Character Voices, Electronic Arts, Insomniac, Take-Two, WB, and a few others that you would know if you play video games. They reached an agreement on 24 items in a 25-item proposal which also surrounds the use of generative AI in games, particularly in regard to motion and performance capture. I mean, yeah, we have to button these down. In another 3 years, we're going to be going through this again. Hopefully not, but we're going to be going through this again. Or is it 3 or 6? One of those. Publishers argue that motion capture work is largely used as an amalgamation of actors' performances in video games and not something producers are capable of accounting for when it comes to compensation. So that means they're using them as actors, but let's say 2 actors are playing the role of, or let's say, okay, how about this? Let's say Nathan Drake. What's his name? What's the guy that plays Nathan Drake's name? Oh, God, I met him. Nolan North. So what if Nolan North is doing a Nathan Drake, one Nathan Drake game, Uncharted game, and then they bring him back for a sequel, but they only need him for half the time because they're going to use him, use some movements from the original the game he did a while ago. They're using it as a tool, and they're going to pay him less, you know. So that's pretty much it. And also, you know, the recreating the voices, all that stuff. All right, let's move on. Universal Music. This is going to be an AI episode. Universal Music strikes a strategic deal with quote unquote ethical AI music company Clayvision. This comes from George Zalai over at The Hollywood Reporter. UMG is teaming up with LA-based AI music company Clayvision on what they described as, quote, a pioneering commercial ethical foundational mode for AI-generated music that works in collaboration with the music industry and its creators. The 2 companies said that they share the conviction to do all this, blah, blah, blah. To me, this sounds like, I don't exactly know what this sounds like. The music major is focused on ethical solutions for artists and wider music ecosystem, advancing generative AI technology in ways that are respectful of copyright, enabling human creativity. So it sounds like they're trying to open up the possibilities of what music can be. You know, if I wanted to make a Bad Habits style song from Ed Sheeran, let's say Shivers, I like Shivers better. If I want to make a Shivers style song, but I didn't want it to sound like his because I don't want to get sued, then I could make the beat, use an AI tool to shake it all up, and then make my own version. I don't know. I don't think I like that. I don't think that's a good idea. And I don't know if that's going to exactly help artists in the long run. There's just a lot of quotes. I'm skipping through the article right now. There's a lot of quotes where the CEOs are just talking a big game essentially. UMG launched Brenda Lee's "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree" in Spanish for the first time using SoundLab's AI technology, fully approved by the artist. I don't like that at all. Brenda Lee probably did that just to make money. Christmas time song, and now it's in Spanish. Get out of here. I don't know if that's good. Clay, the guy says that using this large music model, it's going to revolutionize the way people think about music, presenting a new intuitive music experience. I'm not a fan of that. That's not good. That's not good. Even if you have not just do you have the capabilities, but you have, Mariah Carey's blessing to redo her music, or just to someone can do an interpolation of it. I don't know. I don't think that really sits well with me. Universal has been partnering with new AI companies committed to respecting and helping to maximize the commercial impact and reach that responsibly trained AI can bring to artists. They have deals with YouTube and Google, ProRata AI, Endel, Sound Labs, Band Labs, and Roland. UMG is also in litigation with Anthropic AI, as well as being part of the industry-wide action against Suno Udio. There's a lot of vagaries around this, but the fact that they remade Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree in Spanish is an indication of where this is going to go, and it just doesn't sit right or bode well with me. This one comes from the Hollywood Reporter, written by Alex Weprin. Samsung reveals its Reach free streaming TV service is as big as the major players. Keep in mind, when I start this story, Samsung TV Plus, the free streaming TV service that Samsung offers, is available on all of its televisions. It's available on my phone. It's available on the tablets. And you can also get it everywhere else, among other places you get it everywhere else. Apparently, for the free ad-supported streaming service, or FAST, Samsung TV Plus, which again is free and you can get it pretty much everywhere, there's 88 million monthly active users. And Samsung is probably the best TV brand, the best-selling TV brand out there. For comparison, the three biggest players in free ad-supported streaming are Roku Channel, Tubi, and Pluto. I use one of those. And then the other two just kind of sit. I do watch Roku when I want to watch some of the old Quibi stuff. And that's not a joke. And the American version of Great British Baking Show. So the Great American Baking Show, you idiot. The engagement on Samsung TV Plus is not clear, though Salik Brodsky, who's the senior VP and GM of Samsung TV Plus, says that the video service is working. I think a lot of this comes from, I think about this all the time when I go to a streaming service. I think a lot of this comes from people who just want to have something on in the background, and they don't have broadcast TV like a Nintendo or anything, and they don't have YouTube TV or Hulu Live TV or Sling or Fubo or any of those things. And they just want to have something on in the background, and they don't want to have to think about choosing something on Netflix or choosing something on Hulu or choosing something on Max. So they go to these, which is why Max and Disney Plus have these 24-hour channels now on their streaming platforms. In the case of Max, they have CNN, they have sports, Bleacher Report sports, and they have some other sports. And then in the case of Disney Plus, they have a holiday-themed channel. Like a Halloween one was just on there. And they have a toddler's one. And they have a movie one, they have a Marvel one, they have a science one or whatever. Science fiction. I swear to God, if Disney Plus had like if they expanded those channels and they had like a 90s, and they also have an ABC News one, and they had a 90s and early 2000s, just a cartoon channel with the TV shows that they have from the 90s and the early 2000s, I would never turn it off. They should have had a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror channel just playing all 32, because it's 36 seasons, or 37 seasons, but 32, because I believe Treehouse of Horror started in season 3. It's either 2 or 3, and I think it might be 3 because they're a couple of seasons behind on that. Anyway, they should have just had like a Simpsons, bring back Simpsons World, like on the FX app. Oh, I loved going to the FX app and pressing random episode, and it would just pull from at that point one of the 500 or 400 or so episodes. That was basically 10 years ago at this point. I was a senior in college, had my own apartment, townhouse that I shared with two other people. And I'm not kidding. The entire rent for 3 people in that townhouse in Chattanooga, Tennessee, was almost basically half of what I pay now. But I think, but again, to get back to the point, I think what this is like a lot of people are just putting something on in the background. Anyway, I think about this all the time. I said that because if I had like a restaurant or if I had a coffee shop or something, and I had a TV in there, a couple of TVs, I would just put on whatever. There's a coffee shop near me where one day I walk, like every day, like I don't go to get coffee because I have 7 ways to make coffee here. But there's a coffee shop near me that I used to frequent. And I would walk in and they have a TV right by the counter. And one time they were just playing The Simpsons. Sometimes they're just playing like, like a I don't know, Star Wars or something. They're just playing things on that TV. I just think, oh man, if I had a restaurant or something like that, that's what I would do. I would pull up Roku channel or Tubi or Pluto or Samsung TV Plus or Google's TV thing. And I would just play things. They have Cheers. They have a Cheers plus Frasier channel on Pluto. You better believe I would have that on all day and just laugh my little butt off. Nielsen's gauge, however, frequently includes Roku channel, Tubi, and Pluto, though Samsung TV Plus has not cracked the list as a breakout just yet. The company says it has seen an over 50% increase in global viewership year over year. Advertisers want to work with them, which is good because it's, again, free ad-supported streaming television. Samsung TV Plus combines live and free fast channels from media partners like NBC Universal, Disney, Fox, Paramount, and A&E networks. Oh, Conan's got one over there. It's probably just like Team Coco. It's not a knock on him. We're going to see a lot more fast things pop up, free ad-supported things pop up. And we're going to see, I do predict we'll see Disney expand upon its offerings in the 24-hour space when it comes to its Disney Plus app. I'd like to see them utilize some of that technology on Hulu and have things airing. I mean, if you pay for the Disney bundle like I do, it'd be great to, on Hulu have like an FX channel where it's just airing Archer and whatever else airs on FX. The Bear. What else airs on FX? Sons of Anarchy? The spinoff of Sons of Anarchy? Whatever that's called. All right, this final one comes from Variety, written by Leo Baraclaw. BBC reports 10,000 shows viewed online a day compared with Netflix's 4,800, Prime's 2,400. Everyone's a streamer, even the broadcasters. The streaming platforms of European broadcasters are outgunning the global streamers when it comes to in-depth content. Research agency Glance reported in Cannes during TV market MIPCOM that week. If you don't know, BBC is the British Broadcasting Channel. It's the channel that I think I'm not kidding. I think in Europe they have like 5 channels. They have Channel 4, which is a big thing. The BBC and if your show's on one of those, it's going to be big. But apparently, a lot of people are watching BBC. Imagine if CBS was as big as it was when it had CBS All Access before Paramount Plus. When it was CBS All Access, it's huge. The streaming platforms of the broadcasters have moved from being only catch-up services to 360-degree content providers with television shows, live stage shows, podcasts, and even digital versions of print publications included on their platforms. So it seems to me like the BBC app, I guess, in Europe is something that is like is a mega app of sorts, a super app, whatever that is, wherein you can listen and watch and do all this other stuff on there. Yeah. Looking at the first half of this year compared with the same period in 2023 in the UK, BBC's streaming platform of the iPlayer had 10,000 iPlayers, the thing that they use. Had 10,000 shows viewed per day, which is up 2.5 times in 2 years, compared with Netflix's 4,800, Prime 2,400, and Disney Plus 900. The BBC broadcast channels reported 1,000 shows aired a day, up 0.8 times in 2 years. Wow. Western Europe continues to see declines in consumption of linear television. Interesting. So the iPlayer is that platform that people use because there's not a lot of like you can't get Hulu everywhere over there, and Netflix is probably the global player. Not probably, it is the biggest global. It is global player. You can't get Max everywhere. Oh, they have their own MasterChef, and you can't even subscribe to it here because it's there's different regulations and things like that. Let's look what they have on the iPlayer for movies. They have Paddington 2, own it. The Girl Ghostbusters, own it. The original Ghostbusters, own it. Secret Life of Pets 2, don't own it. But then they have the shows that they're known for. EastEnders, Strictly Come Dancing, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Cool. Oh, God. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. After this episode, there will be an interview coming out, but it's going to come out a day after I usually let things come out, mostly because I was asked to hold it until the 7th of November. So that's what we have to deal with. Expect on the 7th of November that interview to come out. If you want to see a video version of the show, head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see video versions of the other podcasts, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcast. Subscribe to those wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch the interviews there. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at cpluscomedy. Me at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.